Hello there. So I never thought I'd have to do this again, and I can't replicate some of the feelings I had just before going off for my breast augmentation consult, and my feelings were getting back. But I've been recording videos for my business like a mad woman over the weekend, and unfortunately I've gone and deleted all my recordings, but hey ho, it is what it is. So nevertheless, I did want to try and share with you what went on, as I say, without the giddy emotions that I felt, but I'll try and replicate those to some degree, because the whole experience is fresh in my mind. So we had the consult last week, and it was an incredible experience. When you think you've been living your life from, in my case, from 5 years up to 62 in a body that you didn't like, you kind of wanted to change it, and then all of a sudden the opportunity to do it has arrived, and there you are, all ready to go to do this, and it, I suppose that's where the giddiness comes in, because it was never meant to happen in some respects. So the fact it's here, or it was there, I should say, just was remarkable. So a little bit about the story leading up to it, because that was intriguing. So after some fabulous exchanges, I think, with many girls on the Facebook groups I'm involved with, got some great suggestions, got some great ideas about where to go, who to talk to, what to consider. I narrowed my choice really down to 3 areas. Four, I could say. Glasgow, obviously, Edinburgh, London, and Belgium, where I have a number of gorgeous family members in Belgium, and my cousin just lives round the corner from a augmentation clinic, curiously, which I thought was fate, and that's where I'd end up. But so I wrote to them all, and I got real mixed responses back, which kind of surprised me in today's world, where breast augmentation isn't an unusual thing. Let's pick up on the not so good things first of all. So one consultant in London, and I would say the Belgian clinic as well, I just got the distinct feeling were not comfortable with dealing with me. The one in London said there's all sorts of complications doing these surgeries on transgender girls, so wouldn't entertain talking to me. And I thought that was most strange, because it wasn't the first response I had back. But it is what it is, I'm not going to fight it. If someone doesn't want to do that for you, then that's their business. I need to get on. So I didn't pursue that anymore. And then I got very cold responses. I tried 2 places in Belgium, read reviews on one, and they weren't that brilliant, and on the other they were good, but you just got the sense back there was a cold response that again not welcoming me to go there. So again, it doesn't matter, it is what it is, and you just get on with it, and I believe that fate plays a big hand in this. So I was left between London, Edinburgh and Glasgow. The final one, which in Edinburgh, who was private, could see me, was going to see me on the 25th of November, but the reviews if you do a Google search, and I also got some very frank reviews from some of the girls on the Transgender Facebook groups saying that this particular surgeon, I'm not going to mention names because I just don't think it's appropriate, were not that good. I mean, if anybody wants to know privately, you can contact me on DM and I'll let you know, but I'm not going to go out there and say nasty things about any of them. So that kind of ruled out Edinburgh, and in London there was one down there, Christopher Inglefield, and I mention him specifically for a reason, and I'll come back to that. And then one in Glasgow, Vivek Siravajan, and he is ultimately the one I went to. But let's just go through the curious way I got to it, because I was pretty much locked in, having to pay a fee to have a consult with Christopher, and I was all set to go, and I dialed in 5 minutes early for the Zoom call, and he didn't appear. He didn't appear for, well, in fact, he didn't appear when I was on the call, period. So I just dialed off at 3 o'clock and just sent him a message and simply said, clearly he's busy and I'm busy, so I'm not going to sit on the call, and let's just leave it there. Because I suppose it's interesting, because you often can be of the view that they need to pay attention to your needs, but equally, if he'd been with me and we hadn't got through the consult, I would not be happy if he kind of walked out to take the next call. So he did the right thing, and that was fine. And I think it was about 3:20. I got this note from him, very briefly put together, and I knew it was him because it was kind of rushed, but nevertheless deeply apologetic, and just wish it hadn't have been that way, but it was. And then a few days later on, I got a long email from him, and it was lovely, but it was done. I said, no, let's not do that. Please refund my money, and they did that very, very quickly, and we moved on. But he's a super guy, someone who is very willing to own up to, what wasn't right. You've got to have a lot of time for someone like that, and I'm sure he would be a super guy to deal with. So if I'd gone down to London, of course, it would have meant staying down there for a week and all of the aggravation that goes along with that. So, but that choice was brought to an end. So that brought me to Glasgow. But immediately, excuse me, I realised London wasn't an option either. I remembered that I hadn't heard anything back from Ilanik. So I quickly picked up the phone and said, well, I sent my inquiry through to you and I've not had a response, thinking, oh gosh, this is going to be a reflection on how they perform. But how much further from the truth could that be? Because no sooner had I said that than the wheels went into motion and the whole process was in overdrive. And I had 2 very long calls with admin girls there, and they were fabulous, absolutely fabulous. And as I say, fate played its hand, but it steered me, it steered me to Ilanik in Glasgow. And I felt so happy, so thrilled that, when it whittles down, and sometimes, not by your own doing and not by your own design, you find yourself where you want to be, and you had nothing to do with it, really. Really, it happened by misfortune in some respects, but that's how it ended up. So I ended up with a consult with Vivek. Vivek and Gemma last week. So travelled into Glasgow and got there, and gosh, morning I set off. Honestly, it was just remarkable. And as I said right at the very outset, the fact that I've been this way for so long, and here I am on the cusp of life-affirming change, it's difficult to put that into words. It's difficult to express your emotion. But I got there, and and even I can feel it now, just reflecting upon it. Got into the consult with him, and I did say I actually might do some recording, but he is fully gowned up and had his face mask on and hair coverings. You wouldn't have really recognized him from anyone. So off we went, and it was fabulous. I've read so many stories of consultants, surgeons not giving people ample time to go through everything, but I felt with Ilanik, with Vivek, that it was at my pace, and that was just fabulous. So he explained everything to me that we were going to do in the consult. So the first thing I had to do was take my top off and remove my bra. And I turned to him and I said, "My God, this is the first time I've ever taken my bra off in front of a man." I said, "This is quite a moment, turn away." Anyway, so Gemma gave me a fitting bra and a camisole, keep my covered up and warm. And that was after standing in front of the body imaging machine, 3D body imaging machine. And you stand with your arms at 45 degrees, not 90 degrees, but at 45 degrees. And it takes an image of you as you are now. So did all of that, and then just before you put the bra on, he does measurements just to see where you had got to with your growth. Now, just to remind you that my HRT regime is estradiol valerate oil injected intramuscularly, progesterone, which is taken orally, and anti-androgens of spironolactone and cyproteron. So that's what I've been on. And prior to that, patches, and I didn't have the cyproteron. That was given to me specifically because I didn't want to experience any erectional function down below. So that's what I was on when I went for my consult, and it was incredible because to some degree you speculate whether some of those things you take are really having an effect or not. So I've been on progesterone now for about 8 months, and probably the estradiol valerate oil for 14 months. And a lot of people, I know emotionally the oil was affecting me. Progesterone, I really questioned whether it was having an effect or not. I mean, I got the idea from Dr. Powers down in the US, who uses progesterone to help girls with their breast development, but he uses suppositories, not oral tablets, so somewhat different, but nevertheless, I worked it through with Dr. Linda Chow, and together we came to the conclusion that we should give it a go. So when Vivek measured me up, what he said, your breasts have developed well beyond someone up here would be like. So, and what he said was they were rounder, fuller, and typically the girls he sees in Glasgow are a little more narrow and conical in shape. So I found that really intriguing because, as I say, just recently we've been exchanging comments around meds and, you know, what med does what. But, you know, the view that Spiro inhibits breast growth, is that true? I don't think so. You know, and progesterone, I mean, this is according to Chalmers Clinic. Progesterone not available in the UK doesn't do anything. Is that true? I don't know. Estrogen valerate oil injected, and I've seen so many comments on this that I do believe it is true, that enhances and accelerates development. So I think I've seen enough to say confidently that is true. And what I can say is that patches for me were very, very slow. So when you weigh it all up, it seems to me as if I was on a good regime for HRT, which was helping me develop my breasts. But, you know, I'm 62, maybe another 10 years they will be somewhere near where I want them to be, but I don't have that time. So that's it. The decision is made. We're going to go for the implants. And back to the process. So the process was beautifully done, where we stepped through going up in capacity. And Gemma kept giving me the silicone implants to go inside the bra, and he says, "What do you think of those?" I'm standing in front of them and I'm going, "Oh God, they're fabulous, they'll do." They'll do. But you know, he was wonderful, very, very patient, and I think you could see in my own mind there was doubt. I was looking at myself full frontal onward, sideways, and I was kind of not altogether sure. Right, okay, let's go up a little bit more, let's find a ceiling, and then we can come back down again. And that's what we did. And ultimately, we settled on 430cc silicone implants of a teardrop profile, and that's because I was looking for fullness up here, and that's what they would give. So, you know, I went in and he said to me, "What are you looking for?" I said, "Oh, I could tell you lots of women who've got the kind of breasts I'd love to have, but, you know," I said, "here's the thing, they just need to be right for me." And I'm saying, I'm just going to accept what you say, what the machine says are right for me. And he said, "It doesn't work like that. It really doesn't work like that." So again, was very patient with me, very open with me, and as we went up with the silicone implants in the bra, he increased the sizing on the 3D image. So you had one image which was where you started, and the other image of where, you know, you're at with the samples you've got in your bra. So you know, it was very well done, and we got there, and, you know, he said that's probably it. And he was very conscious of the profile at the top being right, because it was an important thing for me. And he got that to where he thought I wanted it to be, and together we all agreed that 430 teardrop were absolutely perfect. So we got to that point, and then we were talking about how he was going to do it, and it's going to be submuscular beneath the muscle. And, you know, we talk also about what kind of life do you lead? Are you active? Do you go to the gym? One of the things he said is, obviously, too large can interfere with arm movements if you're going in the gym. The 430 for me wouldn't, so it wasn't of concern. So we took that into account as well, you know, and I did ask him about things like rotation. You know, I've read and I've heard about girls who've had teardrop implants getting rotation. and he said he's never had it in his career. He's had other issues, but one was with a girl who decided to go to the gym, back to the gym after 3 weeks. And he's fairly insistent that it is 6 weeks, and then you say, well, why wouldn't it be? If that's what you need me to do, that's what I'll do. I'll stay away from the gym for 6 weeks and really give these girls a chance to settle in for the long term. You know, I'm not looking for short-term gratification. I'll just enjoy that myself. But you know, going out and expressing your newfound femininity is something that can wait. So that was it, and you know, we talked about how the muscle would hold them in place, and through time, you know, it would get stronger and stronger, and so on and so forth. So we talked about that. So teardrop, 430 cc's, submuscular. So that was really it as far as the practical work was concerned. So you know, I didn't want to take the far off. I would have walked, gone home. Walked home, would have driven home with those nicely in place, but it wasn't to be. I had to give it all over and prepare myself really for then the administrations. So we talked about the risks, and I think it's important to talk about the risks, but here's the deal for me. Having waited all of this time, and again I keep going on about being 62, but it does have an effect on the decisions you make, that at my age, you know, I'm probably going to take risk more than perhaps someone who's in their 20s or 30s, because, you know, I'm going to probably enjoy these for 10, 15 years, and you kind of wonder what it's going to be like, you know, when you're 77. so then I'm not even going to give that a thought. I'm living in the present moment, and I'm going to enjoy this because, as I say, it's been such a long time in coming. So went away with Gemma, and we did a lot more paperwork and got sorted out. And one of the things they stress is that, you know, I can't go home in a taxi, I can't drive myself home, can't take public transport. I have to be taken home by someone who'll drive me to my door. So a bit of a challenge when you're expunged from the family records. So that was probably the biggest challenge I actually had. But I'll tell you a little bit more about how that was resolved shortly. But I do have a solution, and a gorgeous one too. Here's the thing I did want to reflect on. So got home Friday night, and it was probably the same on Saturday morning. And I would say my emotions over this weekend have been a roller coaster, and probably the best way to describe it is like this. I found myself lying in bed and then just reflecting really on how exciting the day had been, but also thinking about my body. And here's this body that's carried my soul through life for 62 years, and I'm about to do something to it. And I got very sentimental. I found myself getting very sentimental about it. There was never any doubt, but that sentimentality kind of got in my way a little bit. And, you know, I was emotional. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I was emotional Friday night, and I woke up Saturday morning still feeling a little bit like that I was going to do something to my... Now, was going to do something to my body which I'd never foreseen before. Now, I've got 2 prosthetic hips, I've got synthetic ligaments in my knee, I've got no medial ligaments in one of my knees. So it's not that I'm unfamiliar with surgery or challenged by surgery, it doesn't bother me one little bit, but this, for reasons, as I say, was short-lived, but it did hit me Friday night and Saturday morning for a little while, and I felt myself a little bit discombobulated, but I had my mind taken off it by trauma. It's the only way to describe it. Trauma with an international credit card organization. So, with my date being the 30th of November, that's 7 days from me recording this, I had to make the payment. So that's not a problem. It's just not a problem. Well, it may be, but it's not. So that's the story to this particular point. I've been watching some YouTube videos, and one of them was, turn my tummy. I had to go and lie down. So yes, I'm excited. I'm very anxious as well about the whole thing. So I've got a dear friend from many years ago. He's going to take the day off, and he's going to come and pick me up in Glasgow and bring me back, and then I'll be here on my own, but that's fine. I'll get everything ready. I suppose it's a good thing in some respects, because no one's fussing. And just get my food in, lots of soup and things like that. And I typically recover fairly quickly from these things, but you can never take anything for granted. So that's it. So I'm on the final run-in now. I've got a call tomorrow, which is Tuesday, the 24th of November. D-Day -6. And we'll be going through all of the pre-op preparations. And I think that's pretty much it for the moment. And with being in lockdown, COVID plays a big part in this. So I'm not going to go out too much this week, because I just don't want to run the risk of contracting anything. And then for the week afterwards, I'm pretty much going to be housebound again, quarantined, because of the chance of infection. So I'm going to keep that risk to a minimum, and then head off back into Glasgow in a week to see how we're doing. So all in all, and this is where you've got to praise Ilanik. No stone left unturned. Absolutely sure of the type of implants you're going to get. There can be no doubt that they want to make you aware of the risks, whether you are going to pay attention to those. It's really your call. Their job, their duty is to make sure that they've told you. So couldn't do anything more. And as I said a little earlier, I couldn't have found myself in a better clinic, had I designed it that way. So it is a case now of just preparation. I'll not record anymore. I'll not delete this out. I'll publish this and let you watch it, and then we'll move on to the day before, which will just be me sitting here panicking, but it's a good job. I've got a lot to do here, so I won't let time disturb me. And then getting ready to go into to Glasgow. I'll go in on the train. so not bothering with the car. I don't have a problem then to get a taxi from Queen Street to the clinic itself, and there I'll be ready to go. So, do you know, I don't want to keep talking because I just find the whole thing so exciting. It's quite remarkable. On meds, I'm just continuing to take my progesterone and whatnot. I will give a call tomorrow morning into my doctor and let my doctor know what's going on, so that she's got it. That's the doctor at Carmondine Health Centre, who's been fabulous with me on the one call we've had, but I will put that call in and just let her know the date and my preparations for it. So I think that's it. So until the day before, and then the day, from me, Penny, much love from my heart to yours. Namaste.